Yeah, and I would say too, in the conversations that I've had, and I'm sure you're saying the same thing, David, people are now inquiring about variable. Last year, it was not even an option. Like, we're not going variable. We want static payments. Now people are understanding, I think. And we said this last year, clients are very informed now. Like, they come to us, they understand what's happening. We just kind of have to, we give them a couple extra points that maybe we had an insider, knowledge on that maybe they didn't in the article or a couple articles they read. But people are asking about variable. Like, even right now, it's still a full % higher than fixed, and people are still considering it, knowing that there will be potential rate drops in the next year.
You're listening to the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast with your hosts, Paul Stevenson, David Warren, and Greg Campbell. Let's see what's going on in the world of real estate today.
Hello and welcome to 2024. This is the Ottawa Real Estate Podcast, your go-to source for all things real estate in the heart of Canada's capital. I'm Paul Stevenson, your trusted mortgage agent level 2, along my esteemed co-host, David Warren, also a mortgage agent level 2, and Greg Campbell, a seasoned realtor at the Campbell-Maric Group. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer navigating the complexities of the market or a seasoned investor looking for the latest trends, our podcast is designed to be your comprehensive guide to Ottawa's dynamic real estate landscape. Join us as we dive into the latest market insights, share expert tips on securing the best mortgage deals, and explore the diverse neighborhoods that make Ottawa a unique and vibrant place to call home.
Just delving into 2024.
How are we, gentlemen?
Amazing.
We're back.
Amazing. Yeah. Feeling refreshed and motivated. As I know you are, Paul.
Good, two good adjectives. Yes. How are the holidays? Quick summary.
Cottage. 2 weeks.
As short as it gets. One word.
It was, that's all I need to say. It was good.
Florida.
And David, you're still in paradise down there?
Yeah, till Thursday. There we go. Quick summary. 3 weeks. 3 weeks Florida. That's it.
Love it.
We're out of practice, I guess. We usually laugh more, have more to say.
Know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good show.
Well, I feel like I haven't seen Greg in ages since
we'll be
he
back
wasn't on
next
the live
week.
show.
Oh yeah, because I wasn't on those. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, well, that's
too
a
bad.
story that everyone I don't even know if they know. Yeah, my daughter was sick that day. I had to stay with her, and then of course the next day I was deathly ill, and so was the whole family. It went around. Something went around.
Oh, it's going around. It's going around. It's coming around. Yeah, my youngest had a fever for about 5 days of like 30. Well, it ranged from 38 to 39 and a half, up and down, just kind of a roller coaster, no other symptoms, just a huge fever. And now he's completely fine. So
I guess the funny thing to add to that illness that we had, it was literally a 24-hour flu. I was like laid out completely for 24 hours, well, like 16 hours. And then all of a sudden, next day having pints.
He's back. He's back. My background has changed. No more brick. I'm on to the brand colored soundproofing squares, and very happy in my new office near train yards, which I'm excited about. Fresh start here in 2024. And I think my sound quality will be better here without the echoes and the lighting. I have to say, I don't look as ghostly here.
You look great.
Yeah, thank you.
You always look great, though.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, you're welcome,
guys. So what's new? What's the year looking like so far? What are you guys seeing? We're 8 days in. What's happening?
More activity on my end. We sold one, I guess, last week. So that was kind of just after Christmas, but until now, and more showings on some properties that we've had. I've noticed more conditional sales coming up everywhere. Everybody seems to be a bit back at it. I did an open house yesterday, and we had 3 groups through, which I was surprised because of the snow that came. One's looking to upgrade, and two were looking to upgrade, and one is looking to sell their property. So they asked me to actually stop by and give them an evaluation. Yeah, they were just checking the market, seeing what was available at what price. So yeah. Things are happening. Things are moving. As we've said, we have a strong feeling for this spring.
Yeah, conditional sales, like the APSs I have right now, all of them have conditions, and all of them are like minimum 5 days, some even 10. Like very nice conditions. Conditional periods are nice, it's not the 3-day rushes. It's like everyone's like, okay, we got 10 days. We're going to do our due diligence, do our inspection. I've even seen my last two APSs both had price reductions, did their inspection, couple odds and ends, reduced by 5,000, 10,000. So it's still, like we said last year, it's, to me right now, still a buyer's market. Like it's still very much in the favor of the buyers.
Yeah.
Throw in your conditions, you can negotiate your price. A lot of sellers, like the most recent one I had, the buyer said, like, we knew, our realtor told us the sellers had to sell and they drove the price down. Like they had that leverage. Like they say, okay, they have to sell, let's drive it down $5,000. And they did, and they accepted, and so I think it's still a really good opportunity for buyers right now, at least being early January, to get in there and set your closing for April, May. Like you don't have to close in the next 10 days, but just get in there, get the house you want now for the price you want. And then in May, when prices are up 5%, you can thank us,
But we don't know anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, the conditional offers seem to be like very comfortable right now, which is great to see.
Yeah, I've been seeing the same. I got as I predicted, my APS purchase between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
It came in like clockwork. Same thing though, conditional $5,000 price reduction after inspection.
They're competing on this client, hey?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, to your point, it's, I have been hearing from realtors, from agents that they've seen kind of right out of the gates, pretty busy this first week of activity. Myself, I've had, last week, I think I had 5 or 6 conversations of people up for renewal this year, kind of getting ahead of things to talk early about what they want to do and strategy to match, kind of whether they need to extend the amortization to match where the payments are at, or, kind of keeping things within their budget because they know that rates are going to be elevated. But fortunately, I'm able to have that conversation now as opposed to too late, and also be able to pass along kind of good news that at least we are seeing the rates, trending downwards. So which is positive, and kind of that talk of Bank of Canada lowering the overnight rate, at least, at some point this year, start lowering it, but hopefully, as we talked about before, in that.
Yeah, and I would say too, in the conversations that I've had, and I'm sure you're seeing the same thing, David, people are now inquiring about variable. Last year, it was not even an option. Like, we're not going variable. We want static payments. Now people are understanding, I think, and we said this last year, clients are very informed now. Like, they come to us, they understand what's happening. We just kind of have to, we give them a couple extra points that maybe we had an insider, knowledge on that maybe they didn't in the article or a couple articles they read. But people are asking about variable. Like, even right now, it's still a full % higher than fixed, and people are still considering it, knowing that there will be potentially rate drops in the next year. I've been reading kind of conflicting articles. I'm still bullish on the fact that rates are going to go down, somewhere around the second quarter. But there's a lot of people that are speculating now with, the numbers that came out recently with, employment and things like that maybe they won't. Maybe it'll be a little later than expected as the economy continues to be resilient. So, anything can happen, as we saw over the last 3 years, but I'm still optimistic and hopeful. And I'm telling my clients this, obviously there's, other than Greg, no one has a crystal ball, but we're hopeful. I think we're going to see rates go down. Fixed rates are already down. There's some lenders that are under 5% now. 4.99 is kind of that golden rate right now, but most lenders are sitting kind of in the low 5s. And I think, variable rates, as I said, are in the low 6s, and they're probably going to keep coming down as we see the Bank of Canada drop their rates.
Yeah, it was interesting from an economic standpoint that in December in Canada, we lost 23,500 full-time jobs, but added 23,600 part-time jobs. So a lot of full-time jobs lost and only part-time added. But the flip side of that is that we also added a huge population from an immigration standpoint. We added, we're averaging about 40 to 60,000 newcomers a month. So, kind of where that, losing all those full-time and only adding those part-time, that's pretty bad, like from a very weak employment numbers. So, people were expecting with such negative news in the employment sector. Last week, we're expecting the bond market to drop. It actually went the other way and bumped up slightly, but that's because the U.S. numbers like blew past expectations, which jumped the 10-year treasury bill, the T-bill in the US, and kind of that 5-year government bond and the 10-year US treasury bill are kind of going lockstep. And so because the US was so resilient that it bumped up the Canadian, unfortunately, a little bit, but we'll see how this week kind of plays out as we kind of move forward to, rate announcement by the Bank of Canada, what they're going to do, or, kind of setting that tone for the year. I think the first announcement's January 24th. So I think kind of the numbers for inflation, the numbers for all the economic data over the next week is going to be interesting. And then that first Bank of Canada announcement will kind of give us a lot of a big indication of where things are going to head.
Yeah, so here's I'll give a rundown of the dates for this year so everyone can mark their calendars. So we got January 24th is the first, March 6th, April 10th, June 5th, July 24th, September 4th, October 23rd, December 11th. There you go. Big news coming. So based on that, dates, I'm going to guess we're going to anticipate June, but I'm going to say July 24th will be the first rate drop.
I think it'll be April or June, in my opinion.
Wait. Let's go.
Yeah, that's good. I got an interesting piece of information here, and I don't know if this is exact truth or not. I haven't been able to dig deep enough to find it, but
let's say it's truth.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
So we brought in that many immigrants, but it says that last year 424,000 people left Canada. Now, I don't know if those were all Canadian citizens or people waiting for citizenship or what the story is, but this is what came in the other day. Mm-hmm. So I want to get more info on that though, to see how real that is, because generally I think only about 40 to 50,000 leave a year, but that almost eliminates all the immigrant people. Over 500,000 come in and then almost 500,000 leave. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, what does that look like? I just want to know
what's the net amount?
Who that is? What's the demographic, right? Mm-hmm. Like, are they people? Go ahead.
I saw, it might've been the same article, but I saw an article where they were saying that a lot of international students are coming in basically under the guise of being students, but then getting full-time jobs, basically leaving school and then applying for PR as full-time workers. So I don't know exactly how that looks or how that works from a policy standpoint and so on. But to your point, Greg, it'd be interesting to see the net numbers, because we only get the numbers of, at least typically we get the numbers of how many new immigrants we have coming in, but we don't get the numbers of, like, you had that number, but they're not telling us the net, like, oh, we're actually net 10,000 because another 500,000 people left,
It's also doesn't make for a good headline either.
No. Yeah. 500,000 people leave Canada.
Yeah.
Greg, you had some numbers too. I know the stats came out last week from the real estate board. We had a few different numbers. I know Stephen has the charts there as well.
Yeah, I actually don't have that chart in front of me.
Let's see.
Is there anyone else that could look at that right now?
Pause. Here we go. So they are in the chat. So here we go. So numbers for December. So 523 new listings. Benchmark price for single family home was 704,900. Average days on market 34. 1,844 active listings. It says 417,200 benchmark price for apartment, and then 565 properties sold in December. Seems quite low. New listings in December year to date, 20,723, which seems to be the second lowest out of the last decade. And the only year that was worse was in 2020. And then lastly, months of inventory. Right now we're sitting, or at least in December, for the year, we're sitting at year to date 2.4 months of inventory.
Which is reasonable.
Yeah. Balance market is what, 3 to 4?
Yeah. So
we're getting there. That's going to happen. We're going to hit 3 months. Market's going to explode. It's going to go back down to six weeks.
Yeah.
1 month. Yeah. Because
I thought it would hit 3 months a while ago. You know,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it hasn't. But
yeah, especially with how long things are sitting, like, with over 30 days sitting on like average days on market, it seems like that inventory would kind of grow exponentially.
well, and that's the thing. Like,
yeah.
that's the average. But I mean, we've got a big detached home that's been on the market for a while now, and it's at 100 days. And if you look at the ones that it's competing against, that's the average. The average was 104 days the last time I looked, which is high.
Yeah,
34. It seems very low. 34 actually for December.
Yeah, I agree. The small ones are selling. The ones that more people can afford. I've got an interesting story here, kind of just, I think people might be interested in hearing an interesting story that people might be interested in hearing.
A lot of interest.
Entertainment purposes only. Entertainment only here.
Let's delve in.
So I don't know if everyone out there understands what probate is, but definition wise, when a person dies, they may leave behind belongings, real estate, or other assets and liabilities, which is collectively called their estate. I'm in Ontario. Trustee is the only person with legal authority to manage or distribute an estate. So probate is a procedure to ask the court to either give a person the authority to act as the estate trustee of an estate, confirm the authority of a person named as the estate trustee in the deceased's will, and formally approve that the deceased will is their valid last will. So I'm going through something right now where I thought that this was all sorted, and it wasn't. And we got an offer, and then my seller asked to change the closing date because probate wasn't done yet. So I'm like, okay, put me in touch with the lawyer. It was good because I know the lawyer, and we had a call, and what happened was, they're signing off on this today, and it generally takes 4 to 8 weeks to get everything sorted. So we can't take anything less than 8 weeks, basically, just in case. Now, what happens is there's a clause that you can add to this for agents out there listening. If you've never used the probate clause, it's in web forms. If you're in Ontario, it's in web forms as a standard clause that you can just kind of work to, you can change it to however you need it. But this would be something that you could use if, let's say, the probate was in place, you had a closing date, there was a delay. I think this clause is extra important to have in place so that if anything does come up, you're covered. Everybody's covered and everybody's aware of what's going on. So it would be something like this. The buyer and seller agree that the seller, upon giving a minimum of 7 days written notice to the buyer, excluding Saturday, Sunday, or statutory holidays, may unilaterally extend the date set for completion, not to exceed 14 days in total, for the purpose of obtaining a certificate of appointment of estate trustee. Now, those dates, the 7 days written notice and not to exceed 14 days, you can change that. I think in the original one, it actually says that you can do it a few times just in case there's delays. But I think this is very important for not only agents to be aware of this, but for anyone listening that's going through something or will be in the future where a loved one passes away and they have to deal with this. Because, you shouldn't really, I don't think the home should be up for sale unless this is all sorted. But when you find yourself in a situation, know that there is a way out and a way to still market and promote the property and get things done, with this in place. So I just went through this. It's just kind of fresh in my mind as of, Friday. So it was just something I wanted to share with everybody so that they're aware of probate.
So it's cleaned up. It's done.
So it's cleaned up, and everything's good. Everything's
good.
Good.
It's good. It's good.
Good.
Everything's good. It's good.
I actually had a client who had an estate that didn't go through probate. Excuse me.
Okay.
And that was new for me because typically, it's probate. And like you just get the, statement of adjustments from the lawyer. It shows all the money being distributed, very clean and simple. In this case, the clients had a sizable, basically the beneficiary was receiving it as part of the estate, but it didn't go to probate. So it was just a simple beneficiary. They got the money. There was no real estate involved, but it required a couple extra hoops to jump through from the lender. Cause they're like, okay, well, this didn't go through a lawyer. We need, XYZ times 10 additional documents. We got it done, but it was just, It was the first time I'd seen that. Typically you just hear of, the executor this or the probate that, and that's just standard. It was the first time I had encountered a non-probated estate, especially of that size. You know, typically there's a lawyer involved when that stuff happens, but it all got
and
sorted.
there's a lot
It all
of
got
things,
sorted.
man. Like, people need to be aware. If just have your everything in order. I know, my mom lost a lot of friends in the last couple of years, and just the stories of what the family was going through to get things resolved was crazy. And if your affairs aren't in order, it can, it's just not good for anybody. Like, we have one person right now. We're still waiting. It's been almost a year. I think a year and a half. We haven't even been able to put her home up for sale to sell it. It's been sitting vacant since she passed because certain things were not taken care of.
On the flip side, I actually had, so when you list a property, assuming not the house I'm in now, but the home I bought previous to this one was actually from the estate of whatever the woman's name was. But is that something like, what would be the difference then? Like, that is something that went to probate and now they're selling it through the estate? Like, what are the differences?
Yeah. So if there's one name on title or two names on title, it just becomes the estate. If they're, exactly, like if they're passed, it's the estate. If they're still around, but and can't,
incapacitated,
then it becomes a power of attorney, obviously. Right. But if they pass, the power of attorney turns into an estate. So that's all it is. It's just the estate of, and the authorized signee.
And what's what's the process then for listing a property like that? Are you verifying with a lawyer, like as a listing agent? Like, how are you even vetting that it is that they are able to sell it, whoever is coming to you to sell that property?
Well, that's the thing, right? It depends on the relationship. In this situation, I knew the family well, so I knew that this was all a thing. But for some reason, the probate thing wasn't sorted. And you have to be in touch with the lawyer. That's like the first thing when you talk to somebody that's in a estate sale. Usually you'll get a call being, family member passed. We'd like you to represent us for the sale. You meet down, you kind of say, is everything in order? And what do I need? Who's signing? Are you authorized? Then a follow-up call with the lawyer, just guaranteeing or confirming everything. And that's it.
Okay.
It's pretty basic, but you just got to cover your bases, obviously, so that there's no mistakes. Because, sometimes it'll come back. You might need a different signature. You might have to change something. So it's better to just, do your due diligence and get it sorted right away. Yeah.
We're first show of the year. I think we have to make some predictions now for 2024.
Oh man, predictions.
We have our numbers. We have our numbers now for last year, as far as total transactions, number of sales, average home price. So we'll keep it simple. I'm catching you guys off guard here, but kind of fun. So let's go increase, same as last year. Number of transactions, percentage increase or decrease in values.
I'll go first. I think nothing is going to change as of now. I think the prices and the amount of sales is going to be exactly the same as last year. Within whatever.
I think we'll see it from a price standpoint in Ottawa. I think it'll be the typical 5% increase in overall average. And I think the number of transactions will be the prototypical number of transactions. I think it'll be slower to start, but then fast and furious the latter half of the year. And I think the average is around 17 or 18,000 transactions. I think is
last year was just under 12.
Yeah, I think it'll be slow and then come in. I think it'll be a busy summer and fall and leading into Christmas or the latter half of the year. And I think we'll come in on that average.
Okay, well, I'm gonna jump on ship with you guys. I'm gonna say somewhere in the middle of last year and the average. So I'm gonna say 16,000 transactions, and price increase. I like 5%. I'm gonna say nice, easy, slow, gradual increase, which isn't that slow, but 5%. 5% increase in values.
So Greg's coming in the negative Nancy.
Yeah.
Paul and I are coming in positive.
For who are you coming in positive for?
Now, here's a question.
I do agree.
Question for the listeners. What do you think?
What
let's
do
hear
you
it in the
think,
comments.
listeners?
What do you think? Yeah.
But I agree that, just like last year, when the rates changed, the summer was, summer's usually a little bit slower, but summer was shit last year. And if the rates actually don't change until like, let's say June, that will be wild to see, because summer typically isn't, crazy, other than during the, pandemic, it was just nonstop, but historically. So I'm anxious to see if that happens. And then summer just becomes this super hot market.
Yeah, I think fixed rates are going to come down again in the first couple months. So I think the two busiest months this year are going to be, I think August will be busy, as you said, Greg. So October closings, kind of, July, August purchases. And then I also think we're going to see a lot of kind of February, March purchases. So probably May, June closings. So I think as far as actual closings, probably May and October will be the busiest. But I think for transactions, probably February, March, and August will be the busy months this year. Again, based on those rate announcements, like fixed rates come down, people get back in the market, then it'll stagnate. And then as soon as the variable rates drop and the rates are dropping, that's when we'll see the big flood of pent up demand flood the market, drown everyone.
Yeah, because I haven't seen any headlines or articles talking about the fact that fixed rates have come down, even for the big banks. There hasn't been that positive news that they've come down, basically a full % in the last few months. So with that being out of the news cycle, and it only being like when there's been an increase, when there is any sort of talk of rates coming down, and make that public for those that are sitting on the sidelines that haven't been really paying attention too much and kind of only looking at headlines, that's going to get them back in the market. And I think to your point, it's going to be really that psychological, just news cycle that really gets people kind of going.
Gets the people going.
Gets them going.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. Stephen, timestamp those predictions.
Oh, yeah.
Put them in the vaults.
Yeah.
Should we lead the year off with some banging mood boosts?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
What do you think? All right, I got 3 today, and I like them all. That's why I chose them. Okay, so number 1, what did the wise men say after they offered gifts of gold and frankincense? Wait, there's myrrh. Number 2, did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers? He'll stop at nothing to avoid them.
Okay.
And last but not least, number 3, what did one hat say to the other?
Hats off.
Stay here. Stay here. I'm going on ahead.
Yes.
Going on ahead. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We're back for 2024. So every Tuesday, 10 a.m., you can find these new episodes. We've also been doing the clips, the shorts. Greg's been the wizard on those. So you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you watch your shorts, wherever you digest your short content, we're there. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe, comment, review, and thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
Deuces.
Later.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because we'd really like that.